The 7th generation BMW 3 Series, codenamed G20, is longer, bigger, but 55 kilograms lighter. The saloon that sets the benchmark for everybody else. And with a 2-litre engine, this 330i might be the most affordable 330 ever. It's got technology to help keep you safer and technology to make driving the car more fun.
I've been trying to work it out in my head. I don't think I've owned any other specific model of car more than the 3 Series. I've had coupes, saloons, SEs, M Sports, E36s, E46s, E92s. Sadly, I don't own this G20, but I'm going to take a bloody good look at it. Around the back, you get dual exhaust pipes. There is an electric tailgate spec'd on this model. You can even lock it from there if you just want to open the boot, and then you can close it again. Oh, it's so easy. And look, it doesn't stop jamming your hands. So be careful of that if you do go for one. But I think electric boots, they're one of small luxuries, first world problem luxuries, but they're great. This one does get a little triangle. Some models just get a sticker to say, call BMW Assistance. They will help you instead. But maybe in Ireland, I think you can do a little bit for yourself. This boot is the exact same size as the last model. The seats do go forward, 2 little handles in here. Sadly, you have to go around to the car to open them. So that is a little bit annoying, but they do come down very easily. And then when you do that, they're pretty much flat. Now, there's also little cargo-y hooks here, so they will keep everything in place. You can access the battery and the toolkit, not many tools in there, the shopping hooks. Some of you watching this who already have a G20 may be surprised to find out you have a 12-volt charger in the boot, because it's actually hidden all the way up there. And then there's more storage cargo stuff here and some shopping hooks. And that's the boot taken care of. But it's a fairly okay boot. To the front of the car we go. This one is sitting on 19-inch M Sport Plus package alloy wheels, kidney grille. It's closed now because it's parked and the engine isn't roasting. If the engine needs more air, they will open. Very snazzy. Radar guided cruise control down here, and the M Sport bumper just looks better. In fact, if you're looking at a 3 Series, just don't be a cheapskate and get the M Sport, because it will look far better. Some amazing creases across the bonnet here. There's the BMW Hofmeister kink at the back. It's back on the G20, and you get the boot spoiler over the rear, which is lovely. LED lights on the back. There's keyless on this one. Door handles are there's quite a groove into the door for them. Nice aerodynamic. This car, by the way, in general is more aerodynamic than the previous 3 Series. Little M badges here, and then you get BMW's LED headlights. There's also a laser light option. They beam into space or something, but these are perfectly fine. They got lovely daytime running strips around the front, and that's pretty much a 360 of how the G20 is. Let's jump on the back and take a look at it and see what it's like for passengers. The keyless thing is good, that it will lock the car when you move away, but then if you move away even for a few feet, the car will lock itself and you're constantly yanking at handles, and you're into that kind of stuff. But middle passengers are going to feel a little bit hard done by in this car. There is a massive transmission tunnel in the middle, and even the leather is kind of designed that it kind of angles them to say, get out, you're not wanted here. But back seat for 2 passengers, 2 adults, is going to be really comfortable. Tons of leg room, nice lighting, interior ambient lighting is still there. The Harman Kardon logos on the speakers. The door bins, even in the back, are nearly as big as the driver's. Center folding armrest, there is not as it was appeared to be. Oh, there is. Oh yeah, it's actually quite a large bit of access into the rear of the car. And then just for normal armrests, oh, pop up stuff. And there's little rubber flaps that will kind of allow you to adjust the size of whatever bottle you're trying to stick in there. So that's impressive.
For rear passengers, the not so age-old problem of USB-C is back.
And it's very future-proofed, I get that. But if you're in the back and you haven't got a cable, and you've only got one cable and someone at the front is using that, it's going to get pretty annoying having to take turns sharing cables. And there's also independent climate control in the back here for rear passengers. So they will be impressed with that. And there's cargo holders at the back of the seat. Very much BMW-esque seats, you know, as you've seen in the 5 Series, even in the F10, but certainly the G30. And the groove is here for particularly long passengers, but as you can see, I ain't struggling here at all. It's all cushy. Now, of course, I don't look at what are you talking about, but I've also had the chance in my lifetime so far to own a couple of 5 Series as well. And while they are the daddy of saloons, there's something just a bit more nimble. The 50-50 weight distribution, it's just, the 3 Series is generally a better car to be driving on, to be on twisty roads on. This one is longer, wider, but 55 kilograms lighter than the outgoing 3 Series, so that's pretty impressive. Into the driver's area we go, and it is fairly nice. You get leg extenders. It wouldn't be a BMW without leg extenders. Center console is angled just ever so slightly at the driver, so I like that. All your controls are easy to use and simplistic, and probably a bit plain for some people. You know, cars are full of screens and flashing lights these days. BMW forever have kind of kept things simple on the inside. Some people like that, some people call it boring and bland. It's a personal preference. In BMWs, I've kind of just gotten used to the fact that they're a bit more simple. There's still tons of functionality in this car though. It's just all behind this screen. You can set up so much for the car: Sport individual, Eco Pro individual. You have general settings. You can control your heads-up display. You can get news and weather alerts. If you can't take your eyes off the road, which you shouldn't be doing when you're driving, it will read out news stories to you. You've got voice activation, which does work. Hello, BMW.
Hello. What can I help you with?
Could you tell me the weather for today, please?
Today it will be rainy in Dublin with temperatures between 11 and 19 degrees.
Can you make the driver's seat 17 degrees, please?
I set the temperature in the driver's area on 16 degrees Celsius.
And now I'm getting blasted with cool air, and it's waking me up nicely. And it's a very good voice activated system. It's not perfect. There are times when it doesn't understand you, but it will use your voice to find places to eat, sleep, go to the toilet. Storage is also good down here. There's a normal USB charging point, so that's good. Another 12 volts here. Wireless charging if your phone's compatible down here, and there's 2 cup holders. And I like that even if your phone's in there, even if it's charging, you can close that away and you don't get to see your phone, and there's no distractions. But there's a decent bit of room in there, and it's another place you can put your sunglasses if you are in the rain in Ireland, which happens a lot. Steering wheel, massive, M Sport, chunky. This one has heated options on it. Very fancy. The stitching is sublime. The interior lighting sweeps across the dashboard. It looks good. Glove box is not too bad. It's one of the bigger ones that I've seen in recent times. The door bins, oh, they're huge. Like, there is a large bottle of Volvic, okay? 1.5 litre. No problem. Just takes it all. You can operate the electric boot from in here. There's a button, you hold that. It means you don't have to get out of somebody else's loading football gear into the back and things like that. And this gear shifter is straight out of the BMW Z4, which we've just reviewed on the channel. It's not the bling bling one that you can get in some options. It's an optional extra. Don't know if I bother, but it's kind of small and feels like a, I don't know, the end of a golf club or something in your hand. Not that they're going to be using it too often because this is automatic with some paddles on the back, and it's all very smooth in how the gears change. So we've got near as much 260 brake horsepower on tap on this car. We're going to hit the road and take a look. One of the real treats about this new 3 Series is how nimble it is, how planted it is, and I suppose it continues the tradition of that 50-50 weight distribution in the 3 Series. It handles bumps and potholes quite well. In the past, you would be kind of wincing as you're going over some of these imperfections in the road due to the really, really hard run flat tires. And this car still has run flat tires, but it just seems to handle things a little bit better. Now, it's very, very firm on these 19s at times, particularly when you put it into sport mode, and everything just feels like it's a bit more planted. Having said that though, it is still very comfortable, but I'm trying to compare it to 5 Series of past, 3 Series of past, that sort of thud as you go over potholes, and you're like, oh, and it just doesn't seem to do that. It's just incredibly well balanced, incredibly sharp, absolutely nailing this into corners now. I'm not going easy at all, and just a gentle turn of the wheel and it has you into the next bend with absolute precision. There's quite a nice growl off that engine, and it picks up great levels of speed very, very quickly. If there's any turbo lag, I haven't spotted it. This is, of course, a twin turbo, 2-litre petrol. Even though it's a 330i, it's missing a 6-cylinder engine, which would make it all the much sweeter. But then this is keeping the cost of this car down, and the fact that it's a 2-litre as opposed to a 3 means you can get this car with quite a lot of toys on it for just a smidgen over €60,000. And I know that's a lot. It's a lot of money for a saloon, and you'd be looking at it going, well, for that money I can get a 5 Series, and that is true, you can. But the 5 Series isn't as agile as this. It's built for more longer drives and comfort, and don't get me wrong, this is comfortable. It's just 5 doesn't quite do it like a 3 does. It's just point, steer, floor it, go. Driving around town, it's about 9, maybe 10 litres per 100 kilometres. I'm not going to be as frugal as a 320i or a 320d, which of course you can get in this car. Will there be an M3? That's the more interesting question. This sets this up to be a pretty special M3 if that happens. And then you got things like gesture control, and you can spin how the music goes. I'm going to very quickly lower it down again, otherwise I'm going to get copyright issues. And you can mute it by just going like that. Heads-up display is superb. It means you don't need to take your eyes off the road when you're pushing on. You get loads of information displayed in that, from the RPM to sat-nav, and that 50-50 weight distribution. That to me is what BMWs are about. That's what sets them apart with the rear-wheel drive. But if you're to capture the essence of what a BMW is meant to be all about, then the 3 Series it's as much as you need to go. It is great performance from this car, and then when you're driving around town, it's not going to be as heavy on juice because it's a 2-litre. I think they've got the feedback in the steering right too. You don't get blind spot in the wing mirrors, which I think for the price of the car.
But blind spot aside, the 3 Series has plenty of other gadgetry to make up for it.
Some of the technology in the new 3 Series will also pretty much steer the car for you when you're on a motorway. And I know the cars can keep you within lanes, but the feature on the new 3 Series is so good that you could pretty much just take your hands off the wheel and it will do it for you. And that reverse assist, which is not the same as being able to parallel park the car. I know a lot of cars can do that. This is a button. It will learn the way you've gone in and out of places like, say, your driveway, and using sensors, so you will still accelerate, you will still brake, but you do not have to steer. The car will reverse itself out of a driveway, out of a tight spot that you're just not quite able to navigate yourself, or there's something blind or whatever. Those levels of technology that are in the car, as well then as how well it drives and performs and handles, just make it the ultimate package. They have got an awful lot right with this car.